Hello and welcome to the Business Made Easy show. It's the 28th of March here in Auckland, New Zealand, and I am Fiona, the how-to lady. And the Business Made Easy show is for busy business owners who are looking to find an easier way to do business. And each fortnight, I'm lucky enough to interview a guest expert on a specific area of business that I know I want to know more about, and I imagine you do too. That's why you're listening in. So welcome. Now, if you want to keep learning after the show, come over and join me in the Business Made Easy tribe in our Facebook group. If you look under groups and search for the words Business Made Easy, you should find us and make a request to join, and we'll join you in. Fantastic. Now, before I get into talking with our guest today, who is Jeff Watkins from Brand Media, I'm going to jump in and do what I call my nugget of wisdom. So this is following in from the last show. It's about finding a business coach. This is part 2 of finding the right business coach or mentor, if you want to call them a mentor, for you. Now, this is all my personal opinion, but I think a lot of you will find and resonate with some of the things I'm saying here. I know that we all want to build that trust and find someone we feel safe with as a business coach. So finding a business coach for me is about someone who really understands my business goals. You can always see a light bulb go on in their head when they're speaking about your business, not just theirs. You feel like they're emotionally invested in your success. Now, the best one probably will send you leads, suggest strategic alliances, and places to network. They're always looking for ways to be more successful, for you to be more successful. And they get excited when you succeed. They're your biggest cheerleader. Those are the kind of people I want on my side, behind me, helping me to grow my business. So here's some questions I want you to think about when you're going through the process of selecting a business coach. So the first part, just to recap, was about actually getting really honest about what your needs were, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and the specific areas you need help in. So what I suggest when you're looking for that coach is to follow through these steps. Number 1, ask successful business owners who they use. Who do you know in your network that you admire? You have achieved, maybe they've achieved things that you want to achieve. They're a few years ahead of you in business. Ask them who they use and what they found worked for them. Use your social media, of course, and groups you belong to. Ask for recommendations. And note when you do that, make sure you're really specific and list the requirements you're after in a business coach. I've noticed that a few people have done that in various groups I belong to, and they get bombarded with lots of different types of coaches, but then they kind of have to sift through and find someone who's actually meeting their specific needs for coaching. So be specific in what your request is. Then once you've got a list of potential people that you want to look at, obviously go and do a bit of stalking. Go to Facebook, go to LinkedIn, go to their websites, read their blogs, get to know what they have to say and how they say it, and see what connects and resonates with you. If they have a free ebook or they run free webinars or events where you can go try before you buy, I highly suggest going along and seeing if it's a good fit for you. And also looking at who else they attract in the room, because that might resonate with you. Oh, okay, so these are early stage business owners and I'm a few years down the track, or these people, I'm an early stage business owner myself and these people are a few years down the track. So just look for who their target market is. The other thing I would look for is obviously social proof, testimonials, video testimonials. Do check though that they haven't just swapped testimonials with people, their friends or business, because that kind of can happen. So look for the real evidence of success. Then call your colleagues and that you know, and actually talk to them if you can, and ask them, how they found working with the coaches they worked with. And the key question is, would you hire them again? And then obviously cut that down to a short list, 2 to 3 people. They'll probably pop out at you who the ones are that you most resonate with. And then obviously contact those coaches to make a request to find out more and look at what their interview process is like. Now, notice the communication, the way it's handled, how quick they are to get back to you, what the communication's like, what their system's like. I am big on systems, so I really want to see what their communication's like and how they treat me in terms of a potential new client. Now, saying all those things, your gut will tell you if there's something a bit off with the person that you're talking with, right? We talk to not trust our gut as business owners. We should be analytical and tick boxes and look at things from that perspective. But I really think that our gut can kind of almost sniff out when people are not authentic, when the people are actually pretending that they're good at something that they're not good at. So trust that gut. Go through those list of questions, definitely, but trust your gut too. It should tell you quite clearly who's a yes and who's a no. So that's me doing my golden nugget. Now I'm going to get into the very next section of the show, which I'm looking forward to. So we have Jeff Watkins from Brand Media today with us. And the topic of the show is Business Made Easy, When to Rebrand. Now, Jeff is a well-respected graphic designer, and I met him, I think it's 8 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, through a networking group. And he did some work for me on a manual cover design. And he did a great job. And I was really impressed with the questions he asked and how he looked at the big picture, not just this one specific piece of work we're working on. So a little bit of background about Jeff. After graduating from AUT's graphic design course in 1985, Jeff has built his career through gaining valuable production and design experience across a variety of freelance and permanent roles. These include a number of design studios, advertising agencies, brand identity companies. One, notably, was London-based corporate identity agency Wolf Ollins, where Jeff took a contract to roll out the rebranding launch of an international petroleum corporation, Gulf Petroleum. That would have been a huge job. It was an experience gained during this period that set Jeff on a path to pursue his true passion for brand development. After a number of years employed in permanent roles as a senior designer, art director, and studio manager, Jeff felt it was time to take control and build his own brand design business. Since then, Brand Media has been instrumental in developing and building a number of established brands. So welcome, Jeff. It's great to have you here on the show.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you for having me along.
Fantastic. So, Jeff, tell us, I know recently that you rebranded yourself. So tell us what prompted you. Let's get a bit into who you are and where you're going with your business.
Yeah, excellent. I suppose the main reason for myself rebranding was really identifying that I needed to sort of reconnect with my sort of the target audience that I was wanting to attract. So in this whole new age now of the digital media, it's become a real focus for various businesses. So the brand obviously was, reflected my passion within what I was trying to offer, but also it actually, it advertised the fact that I was about branding, but also then the media side of things covered sort of the vast areas of what branding can be all about. So whether it's be across online, media or printing, there's a number of mediums to go into. So it kind of encompassed all of that. So that was, really the main driver for me to sort of rebrand myself as such. Yep.
Nice, cool. And talking about rebranding, what do you see as the most common reasons that people decide to rebrand?
Yeah, well, as the businesses grow, I think the brand also needs to grow with that. So this could come, as a simple refinement to what they do within their company, but also it can quite often mean a complete overhaul with how their logo or their brand image is being communicated in the market. So I suppose a perfect example of this would be the likes of Telecom and how they rebranded into Spark.
Yeah, true.
They identified that they saw, there was a new moving into a new age. Telecom was quite I suppose, they've been around for a long time in its form. But then, yeah, this whole new identity of moving into this new energized market with the digital scene and that sort of thing. So Spark was, born. So I suppose that, it does sort of really give a perfect example of why companies, as they grow, need to redevelop their brands. And
yeah, that's a really good point. So new emerging markets to keep pace with that, to make sure that people relate to them and what they can provide.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and keeping relevant, that's the real important part. So,
Yeah. Now, as you know, I recently rebranded from Kiffin to my own name, Fiona Hall, and I've actually noticed there's a lot of that going on. People positioning themselves as experts and using their own name. Have you noticed that with people as well?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It is. It's. I think it's a huge opportunity. I kind of liken it to when the websites were becoming a real focus for companies to develop. So now it's the moving into the social media scene and the that digital age. So people are having to sort of reinvent themselves as such, so that they can connect better with their customers. So it's all about that, being able to be, I suppose, the keyword relevance and connection. So those two things is what branding is all about.
Yeah, and I suppose it's to do with, as you say, digital online. With it, we're talking about brand on video at the moment. Let's say 8 to 10 years ago, we never would have dreamed of doing that, would we?
No, that's right. Exactly. So it's becoming a lot more of a focus for companies, and as you say, I mean, and with your own brand, it's it's all about giving people a lot of information to feel that they can have trust in what you offer them. So it's great what you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you. What do you see? I know I had a lot of fears, but what do you see the most common fears that people have when they go to look at, branding for the first time, maybe launching a business, or rebranding? What are the fears that you see your clients come to you with?
Probably the big one is always the cost. What's it going to cost? So that's always a big one. But I try and flip that with, it's more about what's the value you see in your brand. So how do you sort of really see how your clients are going to value your services and what you can provide. So it's try and steer them away from the actual amount it's going to cost them. But and then obviously the other big fear is how that's going to reflect on with their current customer base.
Yeah.
Whether they're going to lose that connection, that identity that they've had already, if they're going to completely rebrand and say like all of a sudden they're being reinvented into this new company, are they going to lose all their customers? But I think that that can be a really perfect time to sort of relaunch yourself and to reconnect with those customers. So it doesn't mean that you have to lose them. It's actually mean you can reconnect with them. So it's actually usually quite a good thing. So those are, I suppose, the two common big fears.
I suppose like the opportunity to reach out and connect with someone new is a biggie, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And it mightn't have contacted people for quite a while. I noticed when I redid my newsletter and I sent it out, the open rates went up. Quite quickly.
No, it's amazing. Once you sort of get active in that area, it's how quickly people respond and things like that. So
And would you say in terms of fears, there's there's a fear of getting it wrong? Like most of the things we do in business, as a business owner, we're kind of we're putting ourselves out there. Our egos are really tied up with our business and our brand. Exactly. We want to look good.
That's right.
So there's a fear of getting it wrong. And I know for me, that was one of the big things, is like, is this the right thing? And second guessing myself a lot, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, to sort of try and nullify that fear is to, really delve into where you're going with that new brand and maybe just getting a better understanding of your market. And so it's a little bit of, market research in that area, just so that you're not sort of going down a completely, irrelevant path that you think you're going to suddenly, be totally disconnected from them. You've really got to sort of understand where you're going with it. So, I think that the fear part of it, certainly there's always that, you're going to possibly go get it all wrong, and you're going to just completely get it all mixed up. But no, I think it's really, it's doing the background information, the research.
Yeah. You're right. Research is the key. I think for me, it was getting really clear on why I do what I do and what I love about it and what I didn't want to do anymore. And those kind of deep thinking questions have to come before you look at the brand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the real key to it, for sure.
Yeah. Have you followed Simon Sinek's work, Start With Why?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, so he's kind of an expert, a business expert that, he's written a book called Start With Why. And he talks about business in terms of focusing. And I found for me that was really valuable in helping me clarify, where I wanted to go. So if I knew why I was doing what I was doing, then the rest of it kind of just unfolded and quite easily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's, part of kind of what I offer in respects to when it comes to doing a rebrand, and it's going through that sort of brand audit process. So, really just delving into a bit of a background into why they may want to change. So, and making sure that the reasoning is right, so.
Yeah. And that's what I noticed with you is you ask a lot of deep thinking questions to get people to think about the process before you start diving into colours and shapes and fonts and all the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's the end fun part. There's actually a crap load of work that goes into that before you get to that stage, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I got to commend you on your new look there. It certainly gives it that real sort of, I suppose, personalised, friendly appearance. And that gives it that sort of personal touch, which done well with that one.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I want it to be more approachable and. My focus on looking at my brand was to actually give people almost an example of what it was to connect with me and be with me in person. That I'm not a polished corporate person. My hair will always be slightly out of place. I never have perfect nail polish, but I'm friendly and I'm approachable and I'm enthusiastic. And that's just me. And so, that's kind of the flavour I wanted to bring. And passionate about what I do as well. So
no, it certainly communicates that. So that's good.
So in the world of branding, we talked about the fact that people are often going, especially consultants or specialists, are often going back to using their own name rather than hiding behind a brand. Especially those of us who it is pretty much ourselves, maybe with some contractors in and out, and maybe outsourcing various parts of our business. Is there any other trends you're seeing in branding coming through?
In respects to how people name or give themselves a name, is that?
Well, just any. So what I was thinking of is I remember the uproar when BNZ Bank used lowercase letters. That was like a big thing.
Oh, right. But
there's also now and again. I just noticed that, for example, there was this font called Lobster that I just seemed to see everywhere for about a year, and I was like, the first time I saw it, I thought that's kind of pretty. And then because I saw it everywhere, it just put me off completely. So I'm just thinking about trends that you're seeing in branding that people are coloured or.
There is always that factor, that trend factor. And, a few years back, it was always the complete simplest view was the way that it was going. Everybody really refined things down to just real bare basics.
Yeah.
And sort of now creeping back into a little bit more of a, as I say, a personal touch into certain things, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be all that really simplified look. So I think there's a bit of that coming in, even in some of the effects now. Sort of you're getting gradients and shading coming back in. So it's things go around in full circles. How things get sort of redrawn and reinvented again. So it's always a continual circle of how things sort of flow. But I suppose that would be one of the big things I've noticed. The real simple style is sort of starting to fade away a little bit more, and it's becoming a little bit more detailed.
Oh, thank you. And when you went to rebrand for yourself, can you talk us through that process? What did you do? Like, what was the trigger for you to look to rebrand for yourself?
Yeah, it was, I suppose it was really just, identifying a difference, a shift in the market. So in that.
So tell us about the previous brand for people who don't know.
Oh, Artisan Design?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Artisan Design, that was, it's kind of it was a strange one in respects to, it was, initial idea behind it was going to be I combine it with art is being sold online, artisan. And it was a bit of a sideline business I was going to set up, and then I developed it into a design business that sort of evolved into the brand side of things. So it was a two-pronged kind of approach which I was sort of working on. So the Artisan Design just sort of worked in with what I was also doing on the side. So it was a it was probably it was a bit of a double whammy in that regard. So yeah, that's why I sort of wanted to rebrand myself into that whole brand media sort of.
Yeah, and that was to meet the kind of the kind of clients that you're working with specifically. Is that's what they were focused on? Is their brand and the media?
Yeah.
Supported it.
It was pretty much that. So it gave me a new direction. Yeah.
Cool. And you kept similar colours?
So it was the orange, obviously, that I sort of
love orange.
It's that warm sort of approachable colour, and it's, nice connotation. So, and then just the contrast with the deep darker grey, which has a bit more of a corporate feel to it. So it can be related more to the business side of things. So the two real, I suppose, key points of those colours.
And how did you go about choosing the fonts and things as well? Like, what was your process for that? I'm curious.
Well, the font was something I felt it needed to be kind of slick and sort of modern aged. So that was kind of, I suppose, an influence there with the sort of the digital feel and going into that sort of new era. So that kind of had that feel about it.
Yeah.
So that was the reasoning behind that, really. And then just keeping it all into a lowercase form, which just again gives it that formal sort of look to it.
Yeah. Do you think that the lowercase is I don't know, for me it always feels a bit more approachable?
That's
formal.
It tends to take off that sort of real set in its ways sort of. Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks. It's good to get an insight into that process. I think people will really appreciate thinking about that process of how you go about. And I think the things probably for listeners to think about are those deep questions. Is like my big one is which when I ask most people, they freak out when I ask this question. So I'm going to ask it to you and see if we can get you to freak out too.
Sure.
Who do you want to be known as?
Who do I want to be known as? Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah. The rebrand specialist. That's a typical one, but I suppose.
That's good.
The go-to guy for a rebrand. So it's how to
nice.
Who do you go to? Yeah.
That's brilliant. And the thing is, when you can be and mine's obviously the how-to lady.
Yeah.
And Business Made Easy, for Business Made Easy. I think when you can get the language really simple, it's so easy for people to get it. Because I often, we've both been involved in doing networking for years and years, and people have taglines that can kind of go on and use lots of big words.
Yeah.
I used to feel like I had to use the big words because it made me sound smart and clever, and people only did business with people who sounded smart and sounded clever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know. That's you got to keep it simple and clear. Yeah,
and focus back on what the client actually wants, and they want clarity. They want to be simply saying, I need to rebrand. I want to talk to you. I need to figure out how to make business easy and record and capture the how-to. I want to talk to you. Just it's making it easy for people to make decisions about whether they want to do business with you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, and that's obviously why I chose, you know, my tagline being connecting brands with customers. So it's that connecting and connecting those brands really. So yeah.
Brilliant. That makes perfect sense. So we all make mistakes in business. Yay! Tell me about some mistakes that you've learned from in business life that you can share with people. The thing is, I think mistakes are the best path through. You know, if we just trundle along, we often make bigger mistakes later on down the track, but sharing mistakes does help others.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's one of those, you know, things you learn in life that can be hard sometimes, but I suppose, the big one, and I think it's probably falls under a lot of mistakes people make is, you know, that undervalue your service, undervalue what you're doing for a customer. So, and I think and being able to have that confidence and, you know, delivering that well. So I think it's sort of just, you could almost, you know, fake it till you make it kind of thing. You know, it's giving that confidence, but, you know, it's not so much as just faking it. It's also really just, you know, having that confidence and knowing that what you are actually providing can be of real value to these businesses. So I think it's just really underestimating that. I think that can be, and I suppose in the past maybe I've just really cut myself short in that area.
Yeah, it's a really common one, especially when you're selling your time and you're selling our ego is so involved because we're producing something, right? And it's like, how much is this worth?
That's right, and I think, and it's that fear that, you know, you're going to lose the work if you charge it too high. So I think it's really important to be able to sort of illustrate that, you know, the value of what you're giving is just all about the cost. Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jeff. One final question before we sign off. The time's flying, right?
Yeah, it is. It's good enough now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where did the time go? Too much fun with me. If you could go back in time to when you first started in your own business, what one piece of advice would you give to yourself starting out?
I think, it would be connect as many groups as you can. You know, that whole business network scenario is a really big one. So I think for any person looking to sort of launch a new business, it's that making those connections within business network groups. And really focusing on that at an early stage and following up with those connections that you make with those sort of. And those can just, you know, balloon into other things. So I think, I probably lapsed in that area a little initially. You know, I just sort of, as everyone has those, you know, fears of, you know, amongst groups of people, but, you know, they soon go when you talk to people.
Yeah, the fear of public speaking is a biggie, isn't it? It's the most common fear in the world, right? I totally agree with the networking thing. I remember being dragged along screaming by a friend of mine, and I was like about a month or maybe 6 weeks into business, and I was dragged along to someone's B&I group.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know that I had to stand up and give a 1-minute presentation.
Oh, really? It was all a show.
I was shooting daggers at him going, what have you learned me?
What have you done to me? Exactly. Oh, no.
So I was busily scribbling notes about what to say, not really paying too much attention to everybody else because I was so fearful about what I had to say.
Yeah.
And by the time I got there, I just remember standing up there, I could feel the sweat dripping down my armpits going, just horrified. But, you know, it got to the point, I persevered, I went back, and it got to the point that I was happy to stand up and actually chair the meetings. And I've spoken on stages of up to 500 people now, and run my own workshops. So, getting used to speaking about your business is, and joining a networking group. Yeah. Those people who actually get what it's like to be in business, it's very different from family and friends who don't run businesses. They just will never get what the challenges are, right?
No, that's right. Yeah. You've got many hats. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me today on the Business Made Easy show, Jeff. For listeners, if you want to connect with Jeff and I, the show notes, which will be below this video when it's posted, will have a link to Jeff's brand media website and to the fionahall.co website. Come across and have a look at us. I've got a free ebook you can download called 5 Tips to Get More Things Done. So grab a hold of that, packed with lots of value and tips for you to make business easier. Jeff, I know, will probably offer you a introductory quick chat if you want to have a chat about your brand and what ideas you might have if you're looking to rebrand right now.
Yep.
And come across, if you haven't joined us, in the Business Made Easy tribe. We'd love to see you there. Lots of learnings, and I'll make sure that the show is also posted inside that group. So thanks, Jeff, for coming along, and thanks everybody for listening in.
Great. Thank you.